Welcome to the Crimeycade podcast. I am the mad conservative crime fighter, and once again, another sheesh, number episode 72. Although technically it could be 74 because I did a half point episode uh, earlier this week. But and forgot to put this back up on the screen, but here we go. Here we go. All right. Well, last week, and I did a Let's Chat on, well, last just 1 week ago, but I kind of felt that I didn't get through everything I needed to get through. So I ended up doing another podcast, another Let's Chat Monday, following the Goblin Ghost Arcade's Monday mystery stream. I want to make sure that my audio is good on my pod because, you know, things can happen that I don't expect. And my audio appears to be good, so we're good. All right. Anyway, seems like I had more topics to cover last week. And so I did another Let's Chat as of Monday and went another 2 hours. I do want to thank last Thursday, King Cam Blackman, Alison Deerwell, Jim Patzer, and Norbert Vale for popping in during the course of the pod. So, and gamers are wanted. You work in gaming, you're a turning competitor, you create content, have some notoriety, maybe you're a gaming fanatic. Let's talk. Message me, and we'll make it happen. Because, there's a lot of gamers that are not getting the attention that they ought to or haven't gotten their time in the limelight yet. You don't know how many gamers there are out there that are going unnoticed and undiscovered. So, it's my job to put them in front of the spotlight and give them their due. Because I've had my run at it. And Arcade Animals. Winners and Losers is doing another Kickstarter, and it's only got 6 days left. In fact, let me show this. I'm going to show the screen where I have the Kickstarter up. Oh, I had the Kickstarter up. Well, let me get that up on the screen because, I want people to see it. Here we go. Kickstarter for Arcade Animals, and this is for episodes 14 through 17. Now, I did contribute to this last time around. The goal is $4,000. Right now, they have 15 backers. I may contribute to this again. I contributed last time. But $4,000 is the goal. And only 5 days to go. And the last time around, they did 4 episodes, and we had that high-profile match between John McAllister and Sam McNear. And it was high-level competition for this game show. And yes, this is a throwback to Starcade. And the contest happens in North Carolina at the Airbnb. And the rules of the game, just like Starcade back then. And you can win prizes from the 1980s. And maybe you'll be lucky enough to take home an arcade game. So there you have it. It's on Kickstarter.com. Now you can get to their Facebook page by going to Winners and Losers on Facebook. There's a link to their Kickstarter there, and I encourage you to participate, or I encourage you to contribute to this. Now, they also have the auditions. And, every time I respond to one of their posts where they're looking for auditions, oh boy, here we go. Every time I respond to one of their Facebook posts and say, hey, maybe I'll get the call. Maybe I'll get the call. And they're telling me to call or telling me to leave another audition. So what am I going to do today? So before we have our guest in, I'm going to call this number. I'm going to do a live audition. So it is way cool 485. So it's 929 266 5485. And I've encouraged my colleagues at the Galloping Ghost to audition for this because they might play your promo. They played my promo in episode number 6, but it seems like they want me to do another one. So let's call this number. I'm going to make sure everybody can hear it. You put it on speaker. Here we go.
Thank you for calling Arcade Animals. Want to be a contestant? At the beat. Leave us your name. Tell us what is your favorite 80s arcade game. And tell us what makes you an arcade animal.
This is the 1991 Nintendo Campus Challenge National Champion and the 2021 Galloping Ghost Gamer of the Year, Stephen Lucas. I cut a promo for Arcade Animals before, and they aired it. So when the new episodes are planned, I wonder if I will get the call. And Weirds and Losers keeps telling me, call the number again. Cut another promo. Cut another promo. Fine. As a child of the 80s and watching the original Starcade, I seek an addition to my gaming legacy by becoming a contestant on our arcade game show and taking home the grand prize against tough competition. And maybe Beezer will be in the lineup, because Doc Mack has roasted me royally for saying he doesn't have one in the vaults, because there's only 3 left in the world, supposedly. Regardless, if I get the call, I will drive out to North Carolina and I will take a boatload of scores while reliving my childhood era. Thank you. Thank you for listening. I'm Stephen Lucas from Springfield, Illinois. I hope I get the call soon. And there you have it. I've made the call, and that's how easy it is. And I encourage all my colleagues watching the stream or watching it on replay to call this hotline, leave their best 1-minute promo, and maybe you'll get the call to be on Winners and Losers. And now I have to ask about this gentleman. Have you seen this guy? He was last seen walking out of the Bloody Wars tournament ceremony, and he's not been heard from since that time. Rumor has it he's been spotted at Galloping Ghost Arcade, but I don't know if the rumors are true or not. So I'm going to be heading up to the Galloping Ghost Arcade this weekend. I'll be handing out flyers, missing persons flyers, and see if anybody has spotted JP Pitts lately, because he's, I wonder what happened to him. He's not himself. He's I don't know, a little down in the dumps and keeping to himself, gotten into seclusion. I gotta find out what's really going on with him, because everybody's shocked that the Bloody Wars suddenly came to an end. The Discord's been taken down, and now the Facebook group has been closed. So I might get some answers this weekend. We'll see. And this gentleman. So the controversy continues to build against the Twitch CEO, Dan Clancy. And now we find out this guy's dirty laundry, as he's been spotted numerous times with young e-girls following the Emiru incident at TwitchCon. And TwitchCon was a big hot mess as the personnel there, seemingly very incompetent, just kind of not doing a good job screening people coming in, and people are like pretending to be other streamers and taking over their podiums, pretending to be them. People are cutting in lines and stuff all over the place, which is probably how that creep tried to ran up and kissed, planted an unwanted kiss on Emiru, and may have had a weapon. So this guy needs to be fired as soon as possible. This guy, he's only been CEO for 2 years, and he's turned this platform to crap. You know, I don't want to have to move to another platform because it took a while to get the number of followers here on Twitch, and you know, I don't want to be divided up among several platforms. I'm divided up on Twitch and Facebook. So, and I kind of like this Twitch setup, but stuff happens. So, all right. Oh, one last thing. Mass firing at the gamer. You know, if you don't like gaming and you decide to post a lot of political articles and the public at large doesn't want them, it's no surprise that these woke 20 somethings who are writing all these articles that have nothing to do with gaming but have everything to do with their own cultural fetishes. It's goodbye and good riddance. They are now on the unemployment line and being told to put the fries in the bag. So now if we can just get rid of Kotaku, it'd be great. Anyway. All right. Our guest tonight. Oh my gosh. I hope my guest didn't fall asleep. Nope, he's awake. Well, to introduce our guest, I'm going to show one of his famous videos, and this is video number 1006. It is a highlight video from TNT Amusements, our guest tonight. So let's check it out.
Fan, TNT fan, 'cause those guys could ship to the moon a very brand new song, T-Pad. I'm a Todd fan, TNT fan, 'cause they will make one out of two, it will never go bad again. No battery leak, brand new system, crème de la crème. New logic board, very bright bulb, 100 volt. Wallace involved in my brand new trackball. I'm a Todd fan, TNT fan. Those guys could ship to the moon a very brand new song, T-Pad. I'm a Todd fan, TNT fan, 'cause they will make one out of two, it will never go bad again. battery leak, brand new system, crème de la crème. New logic board, very bright bulb, 100 volt. Wallace involved in my brand new trackball.
Don't, no, no, no!
And here he is, the man himself. And your microphone is off. Now it's on. The great.
I know what I'm doing, young man.
I wish I were young, but I'm 53. 50,
I just
no,
turned
54.
I am 70 now. 70.
So you're a child of the 60s or 70s?
Well, I grew up as a baby. No, I guess you could say 60s. I graduated in 1973 from high school.
Okay. So you're a child of the 60s.
I
Excellent.
guess I grew up with Lost in Space and I Dream of Jeannie and Bewitched, Star Trek. You know.
And I had to deal with it, and I was only able to watch all that stuff in reruns.
That's
And
right.
in syndication. But, you
I
know.
saw first run.
Yes. And probably in black and white, and we didn't have really color TVs yet.
We didn't get color until like 1970.
Yeah.
So I used to babysit. When I babysat, a lot of our neighbors already had color TVs. And the first person with color, I should say, was 1966. We went and she invited all the kids in to see Batman. And it was Wednesdays and Thursday nights. Half hour Wednesday, half hour Thursday. 30-minute show. And she had the first color TV in the neighborhood, 19 inches. A big 19-inch screen. That's the size of Miss Pac-Man.
Yes.
And we all gathered around it to see this beautiful color, and it was quite something.
And video games weren't even thought of yet.
Yeah, and video games became color. I think the first color one was Indy. Indy 8.
Indeed,
The
8
Atari game. It used a 25-inch Electrohome color TV, and it had the cars and their track. Very archaic graphics, but it was color. Each player was a different color. That was the Cat's Meow. And regular color didn't come in until later. The Space Invaders is black and white, and Asteroids is black and white. There were a lot of black and white games. But Galaxian, I think, was the first commercially mass-produced color game, 1979.
Yes.
And, they were using home TVs inside. Then they finally got the manufacturer to make commercial-grade monitor chassis. See, it's all information you needed to know, and you only get this information from me, the master.
So let's go all the way to the beginning.
Oh, horrible memory. I mean, great memories. Great memories.
Well, every story has a beginning.
Well,
and you've had a long story. Your story's been going for like 46 years.
No, we're at 47 now. 1979 is when I started. And it should be 47 years in January. But we started at my house, and I put games in stores. I was bitten by the bug. It was terrible, but I operated out of my garage. And what was interesting is I would buy a new game. I remember buying Missile Command when it first came out, Centipede. I only bought one, and then we would put a lock bar on the front, a steel bar. We would drill the holes and put that in, and then we would play it that night before I took it to its new location. Remember the smell of the new arcade game when you opened them up and the wood inside, the electronics, it all had this really great smell. But that didn't last long because it was in some crummy a Chinese food place. It would get, the smell of the pizzeria. The new smell disappeared fast. And we never really made a lot of money. It just never did well. But,
So 1979, I was, let's see, I was in third grade.
you were a baby and you could have been bitten by the bug. I mean, I remember going to locations and the store owner would say that so-and-so's kid came in there and he took his coin collection and dropped all the silver quarters in the machine. So when we opened the machine up, he wanted to be there so he can get his quarters back and switch them for regular quarters. That happened numerous times. The kids would find daddy's coin collection.
The silver quarters that were made of pure silver.
Yeah, 1965 and older. So it could be 64 and older. I don't remember. That was the crossover year. But remember, this is 79.
Yeah.
So the only way those quarters were in use was in somebody's drawer, dad's drawer. And the kid found them and thought they were quarters.
Mm-hmm. So I'll say for the outset, Space Invaders was my hook. You had to have a hook. What was the game that got you interested in gaming?
I didn't go to stores to play games, but I saw them and I saw the potential for making money.
Mm-hmm.
And there were games we couldn't buy because big dealers. See, remember back then there were vendors that would buy 20 of each game.
Mm-hmm.
They would get first dibs. It's almost that way. In some cases, that held for a long time. And when you got a popular game like Donkey Kong or Pac-Man, it was very difficult to buy them. I couldn't. So we started getting these. People started making knockoffs of Pac-Man and Donkey Kong.
And bootlegs.
Yeah, the joysticks were different. But they were almost the same game, and but I never did well. They never made. I got like the third-rate locations that the big vendors didn't want. They were all
so you got stuck with these Crazy Kongs and these Ghost Munchers, and
I was one of the few people where the Crazy Kongs were picked up by the federal government. They actually came and took them, and I lost rights to them, but I didn't get fined or anything. And at one point, we were allowed to get them back, but they had to open them and take the money out and send it to Nintendo or something. It's foggy now because it was all bad taste. But you see, the Donkey Kong brand new is $2,200,
mm-hmm.
and you could get a knockoff for $1,100 or $1,200. And the kids seemed to play it. And some of the cabinets were well made. Most of them were funky, but
yeah.
But I was there for that baby. Not many people are still in the business that at least advertise or publish or want anything to do with it. Almost everybody back in my era got out of the business or dropped the arcade game stuff and isn't involved in any of these YouTube channels or anything like that. They're just not doing it. So I think I'm one of the rare breeds.
And let me go back. So I don't think I heard the answer as to what game it was that got you hooked.
Oh, I
In
didn't really.
previous interviews, I heard something.
I didn't really have a specific game. Uh, I can tell you the first game I bought. It was a color Sega Gremlin. Um, it had two games in it. In 1979, they had three games that they
Mhm.
marketed. Head On 2, which was full color. They had made a black and white Head On that was hugely popular.
Yeah.
Well, they put it in a vertical cabinet, a vertical monitor. They had Head On 2, a Space Invaders clone called Invinso, which was
Yeah.
actually really good because all the little men were different colors and they did different things. And then a third game called Deep Scan 2, which was the color version of Deep Scan. And they sold these cabinets with two of those three games in it. And you could buy, and I got a closeout because our distributor decided not to sell them, to market them. So I bought one brand new Head On 2 Invinso and one brand new Invinso Deep Scan. I still have them both. I still have them both. They're in my warehouse. But
I've
they
seen
made
a
a lot of money.
couple of these pop up in Facebook Marketplace in my
Yes.
area in the last 24 months. I didn't get them, but Taylor Lucas got the cocktail that had Deep Scan and Head On 2. As Found Arcade Games got the stand up, got the Inviso Head On 2.
Now they also made it in something called a trim line. A trim line, it looks like a cocktail, but it's square, and it had a larger screen in it. The cocktail Segas all had 13-inch. This had a 19-inch screen in it, and it was square, and you stood at it to play it. It was designed to not take up a lot of room. It was a 15-inch monitor, not a 19,
Yeah.
but a 15, and it was designed to get in a bar, and you'd face each other and play. They made a number of trimline games, including those two. They also had Astro Fighter as a trimline. Uh, there was another one that was popular. Well, Carnival. Those
Yeah.
four games were released as trimlines. There may have been more, but I never saw them. I never seen them.
You didn't have a Pac-Man or a Miss Pac-Man because those are always somewhere.
Well, they weren't trimlines. They made cocktails of them
Or cabarets.
and cabarets.
Yeah.
And the cabaret, of course, was 5 foot tall instead of 6.
Yeah.
Smaller television set. And they never earned as much, but they were designed to go in like a restaurant, like an IHOP waiting area, a restaurant waiting area, but they didn't want a big game in it. But they never earned as much, and hence they made, other than Pac-Man, they also made Galaga, a lot of them, and a lot of Miss Pac-Man. Everything else had very low runs, usually well under 1,000. I was trying to collect every cabaret ever made.
Mm-hmm.
My collection got up to over 100 of them. So I had some rare ones. I had about 45 in my basement. I had my arcade in my house. But I since moved most of them out. I have a few left, but I did some.
One got destroyed.
I'm not sure. Which one?
So the infamous throw the arcade game and pinball off the roof video. There was
Well,
a moon base.
they were going to throw it off, but they didn't.
Okay.
You didn't watch it carefully, Stephen. You did not do your homework.
I don't know. I kind of cringed too much to get through it.
You're a mess. Now, the question is, have your viewers done that? By the way, is this live now, or are you?
This is
publishing it
live.
later? Okay.
This
Because I
is
can't
live
see
as soon as
I
I
can't
started at the
see
top
any
of the
chat.
hour.
I see the chats here. I clicked the wrong button. Rap sheets here. 1S4 14.5. What's up? So
Let me.
we have a few people there.
We
Good.
have a few people. Normally, I would start at 8 o'clock, but
Well, you're
you're on
late.
Eastern time, so I brought you in an hour. Didn't want to keep you up too late.
Which is
Although you've
good. Although I am here, I usually stay here till 10. I
yeah,
get here around 11 in the morning, leave about 10 at night. Six days a week usually.
you know, your place would be somewhere you wouldn't want to leave, just like Galvin Ghost.
That's right. Galloping Ghost is very popular, Stephen. He's got over 1,000 games. Now, if you were watching his channel, I had in my warehouse 25 brand new Wells Garner picture tubes. The last batch they made, just a picture tube and yoke. And I realized I was probably never going to use them, and we needed the space badly. So I told him I'll ship them to him free.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't even pay for the shipping. And he graciously accepted them because he's going to need these tubes. Because as the tubes get burned in, he'll be able to put these in. And it's one of my great features of being me.
Doc says
Well,
there's all these
people hate
monitors
that.
still in
They sit there and
circulation.
type all these bad things about me. I love it. Nobody said anything bad in the chat yet.
No, they're kind of reluctant. Although, as the night wears on, a few more people are going to filter in, start asking questions. I encourage people to ask questions, but I should let me ask you. I think you covered this, but how did you become a dealer?
Well, in '84, if you go on my website, you can. Stephen will put a link up, I'm sure. But if you go on our website, we do have the origin, the introduction, that sort of thing. I had a partner. I got a partner in '81 because I needed somebody to help me sell stuff. We were equal partners, and business got really, really awful. The games were making $7 a week. Everybody lost interest. This is about '84, and they all wanted the latest game. And you go out and you pay $3,000 for the latest game. You put it in the location. It grosses $100 a week, and you have to give half of that to the location. So you're down to $50 a week, and you paid all this money for this game. You're never going to pay it off. So my partner and I were really worried, but I lived on a very busy street in the far northeast Philadelphia. So there's the website. Look at that. So what I did is, if you click About Us, see on the top, Stephen, right there.
Yeah.
So if you click About Us, it'll give you information about how we started. FAQ. There's history and awards. I haven't updated it, but I've actually got quite a few things from people. I won the Twippy Award 2 times. That was only, I think, 6 years. And I did win the last 2 years in a row. And then the final year, somebody else got it. And then I think they're not doing it anymore. But regardless of that, the driveway was the perfect place to sell games. I put 3 games out front. It said arcade games $100 and up. And baby, they stopped. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, from August through December, honest to God, about 2 weeks before Christmas is when we stopped. And I remember showing games outside, and we were freezing. We had gloves on, and you could see the breath in front. Everything was outside, lined up in my driveway. At one point, I think I had, 80 games. I have a couple pictures still, I think, on the website showing the games lined up. My father took 2 slides of the games. The only recording I have of games in the driveway. But we sold some 400 machines out of the driveway in that 4-month period. And that was pretty good. And we realized that there was a big business in this. So
Are these private collectors?
Yes, they were all homes. Occasionally you get a guy that's going to open an arcade. Now, uh, that was the key, and we realized there was enough business. We got back a lot of money we had invested in dumped games, $100 for and up. So we had Space Invaders for $100, but Deluxe Space Invaders was 100 and a quarter. Asteroids 100, Deluxe 100 and a quarter. A game like Star Castle, they were 100 and a quarter. The cheapest color game was Missile Command, which was $175. And the reason is you couldn't make the kit out of that because it had a big hole in the control panel where the trackball was.
Yeah.
And most operators or vendors had no way to cover the hole. They weren't set up to do kits. And Tempest was 2 and a quarter. That was my next game that we had cheap. No,
I was gonna say
games.
Missile Command, they didn't have golden tee to utilize trackball.
Yeah. Well, that wasn't the first game. That was the 4-inch Atari trackball. The first game would have been Atari Football, which was 79. They made a 4-player, then a 2-player. Basketball was an Atari Basketball used the player. They made a baseball cocktail, a stand-up cocktail, just like the Atari Football that used that. I think Missile Command may have been their last game with that giant trackball, the 4-inch. And the nice thing is Arcade Shop remakes the rollers because the rollers are supposed to be even across. And from being rolled so much, they get a big pit in the center where the ball rolls. And then the ball, it's harder to control because the ball's in this rut. So you can change the rollers, clean out the bearings, and you're good to go. And the trackballs move just like they did years ago. Oh, there's a little known fact about Missile Command. Missile Command was released in a cocktail and a cabaret with the 2.5-inch trackball, the Centipede.
Yeah.
And guess what? It's not marked on the directions, but one of the dip switches, if you flip it, the programming accounts for a smaller trackball. So the cocktails and cabarets had that switch flipped, but the full size didn't. Well, guess what? If you flip the switch in your full size Missile Command, your black trackball, you don't have to do this. You can move it just a little bit and it behaves incredible. You can really get high scores if you have the trackball set on a cabaret size. And a lot of people, we started doing that, and people said, wow, they got renewed interest in the game because they could get to higher levels. They also, though, think about that, they died, though. Even though they got to the higher levels faster, they died because the higher levels got harder and harder. So it worked out in the end. No.
I could never pull off the spread. Missile spread, and
you could only have 8 active rockets. So if you went and when you get to 8 until they explode, you can't fire anymore. You hear that squeaking sound. So as soon as one explodes, you can get a new one. Another one, you can get a new one.
Question in the chat: what are your all-time favorite arcade games?
Well, I mentioned earlier I like the Sega. I will tell you that probably my favorite game I still have, I bought new. It's a cocktail Sega Digger from 1979. I played it for hours and hours. It's been in my home all these years. I tried to vend it once. I had it at a nightclub. Oddly enough, the nightclub where I had it, it was a punk rock type club, but they had band members. There's Digger. Look at that. There's the Digger game.
Yeah, this was a T20 game.
Now this is playing sideways. The game is normally the other way, but the cocktail. This is the cocktail version. The upright, the screen is the other way, but you have to fill the holes. You get 5 scoops. And if you do it in less than 5 scoops, you get more points. Now, to do it correctly, the green guy. Oh, by the way, the green crabs. Now you have to fill the hole in,
Yeah.
and you hear beeping, so you can time it and not get killed. Notice there's a red one. If
Yeah.
you trap the red one and kill him first, you get 2,000 points. But if you get a green one and trap him, the red disappears and it becomes a green one.
Right.
All the crabs are completely blind, totally blind. You would swear they're following you, then they're not. Then they dart off in another direction. So they're completely random. Now he had to make a decision who he wanted to fill. Now look, he got 2,000 because it was red, but he made a mistake. See, if that green guy came up, he would have killed him. But this is what you do: you get into a spot where you can protect yourself. Sometimes you hang your guy back a little, because
Right.
if you don't, you risk getting killed again. Now, this is not this is actually a player playing that understands the concept. I
Yeah.
would have stuck myself in that spot, the two short spots to the right and left. I find the crab rarely turns into a side when he's on the outside edge. Now, he'd be foolish to stay there. What he needs to do, now in this case, amazingly, the crab is going to hit. But normally, I would have expanded and put more holes everywhere. And
Yeah.
then this is the final wave with 4 crabs, and then you go to a new screen. So when you play one player, oh no, wait a minute. When you play one player, you play 2 of each screen. That's right. 2
Well,
4s, 2 6s, and 2 8s.
What
If you
is?
play one player or 2 player, then you play 1 1 1. 2 players, terrific. That's what I said. This is the best interactive because 2 player you can play together, you can play against each other, which would be stupid, but you can gang up and then you can protect. Both of you get protected. So
My
now,
memory of this game at T20 um, is trying to find a spot, but if you're in the main thoroughfares, you're more likely to get killed, and it's
you
like
will.
trying to find
Now
a
I
narrow
would have
pocket
gone
to
the
sit
far
in.
right. You could 2 of those on the far right are ideal situations when there's 8 crabs because you have less chance of them killing you. Now, if a crab touches you as you're filling a hole, a second crab, the hole disappears.
Yeah.
This guy's been exceptionally lucky because
Well, there's one other bit. If you don't eliminate all the enemies within the time limit,
that's right, the gate.
all these guys
Gate on the
flood
side.
out.
Yeah, that ladder. We called it. It's supposed to be a fence, but we called it the ladder. When the ladder opens the door, they all come out at once. Only one time did I survive out of thousands and probably hundreds of plays, not maybe not thousands, because there were just too many. I was able to kill a couple, but I never got any more success than that. I wish I
Although,
did.
if you,
Oh, I
I'm
see.
not
8
sure.
train is here now. 8 train is here. And Thinking Cam Blackman is here.
King Cam Black Gun, yes.
Yes, it's called Digger. I did some research. They made it as an upright and a cocktail. I've seen Galloping Ghost has an upright.
Yes.
And it's 1 player. You could play 2 player, but one plays into the other. It's awful that way. And the screen's the other way. Cocktail, the screen is, wait a minute, I thought the cocktail played vertically too.
All I know is this game was hard.
He's done here. See, notice the guy is sideways, but he can move around and turn upright. But anyway, regardless of that, great game, lots of fun, and I still have my cocktail.
What's your high score on Digger?
Oh, that I don't remember. We just played. I can tell you we got to almost the end of the 3rd wave. Now, if he finishes this rack, notice he's got 3 men left.
Yeah.
If he finishes this rack, now see, he made a mistake there. He's put them right out in the open. But watch, this guy, he has to run. He's never going to catch. Well, no, he got him just in time.
This guy's an expert.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's using a tool assisted
Well,
speed run or whatever.
he is playing well. Can you turn the sound on so people can hear it?
Yeah. I don't know if it could, how loud it's going to be.
No, I can't hear it.
Apparently, it's not very loud.
Got great sound. By the way, it's using the
there
VIC
we go.
system. This is the VIC system board.
Yeah.
The VIC system, the most famous game was Carnival. And that used both rows of ROMs. The Invinso, the double games, used the same board, but one row of ROMs was the head-on, and the other row was deep scan for Invinso. Digger used the VIC system. I think there was one other game. I think Tranquilizer Gun.
Yeah.
Yeah, the VIC system is spelled VIC. The logic board was this, a little bit smaller than a pac-man, and then it had a ride-along soundboard. And so there was two boards in it, sound and picture. Sort of like how Frogger has two boards, but they're connected together. You have sound and picture on the Frogger.
Yeah.
But it had their usual power supply that had the amplifier built into it. It was mono sound. A good system. You got to try it. I know the Galloping Ghost when I was there in the summer. I need to watch my video. I have a really good video up. The blue gun was down, so there was one of the three colors wasn't one bright enough, so it would make it very difficult to play.
Right.
You can't fix everything. It's impossible with all those games. What has he got? 1,025 in those.
So currently it's 1,060 or so, but right now they're doubling up games in the same cabinet.
Yes, and it's impossible to keep everything working. It's
Yeah.
impossible.
Not possible, and plus some people are just not very kind to the game, so there's a few of them that are cordoned off in a room where you have to request to play them.
Well, Galloping Ghost did it best, didn't he, Frank? By the way, come over here in the picture. Frank works here too. A lot of you have seen Frank at shows. They were just at the Pinball Expo. Frank,
I wish I were.
you should have been there, Stephen.
I couldn't go.
Fly you in. But Frank
Darn cat.
is the inventor of the battery board that has now saved several thousand machines.
Yeah.
The battery board takes the place of the 3 battery pack. It can also be used in a Nintendo game, like a high score for Mario Brothers. Take the 2 batteries out. It uses a 2032, a common lithium battery, and then Frank also designed the board with an additional blocking resistor diode to protect the board from blowing up, for the lithium battery to blow up. Lithium will blow up, even a little bit. And all of you have seen a lithium battery blow up at some point.
Yeah.
So, and Frank's board has just been wonderful. And because people started using it, he made it in 2014.
15. 10th anniversary, the original.
And Frank's website where you can buy it from is quarterarcades.com.
No.
No quarters arcade.
NoQuartersArcade.com.
I screwed everything up. You must think I'm fat or something.
No, dumb. Not fat.
Dumb. Is the multicade ready?
It's been ready.
Okay.
I'm working on the Guns N' Roses. I think that hard drive failed. I couldn't get it to take a re-image, so I found another drive laying on the bench. Greg didn't know what it was. I took a copy of that just in case, and it's been going for a couple hours now. So
So
hopefully
it's running?
Well, no, it's still imaging.
Oh.
It's going to be a little while, but I wanted to come back in to check on it for a little bit,
Okay.
so we can get it wrapped up. But first,
Imaging.
Imaging.
What I used
Well,
to do,
that's what you
except
have
we
to
do
do now.
Windows.
You've got to do imaging now. You know, it's all part of the fun. I think that's
Yeah, those computers on these games, they seem to run Linux, not Windows.
well, Linux is free.
Yes.
Uh, uh, Oddly enough, Arctic Thunder and Hydro Thunder run Windows. Windows 2000, because they said that was the future, and it must be. But Linux
Embedded version.
is free. There's a lot of cheap people out there.
There's a few games that run on the Windows environment, and the X Arcadia does run in a version either Windows 10 or 11.
Ooh,
Super
excuse me.
Street Fighter 6 runs on a version of Windows
Okay.
because I see the Windows logo when you turn it on. It's like, but it takes forever to boot it up.
Let me just type this in here. It's outrageous. Somebody just emailed me, wanted to come tomorrow. I said, no, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. Don't come. So you have to respond to people, and we get calls and emails. We've actually had people call at like 4 in the morning. Are you open?
4 in the morning. They must have been drunk.
Are you open? The only reason I knew that I had to come in here to pick something up, and the phone's ringing. And I said, "Yeah, we're open for business. Did you want to come in and play? Rent the room for an hour." "Oh no, I was just checking to see if you were open."
He's drunk.
Listen, we get some Looney Tune calls. I have 3 videos up called Nutty Letters, four of them. Where in the old days, people wrote you letters.
Yeah.
And I got some really crazy letters. Not emails, letters. I have a lot of emails too, but I never made any videos from the nutty emails, I should call. But you should check them out. Just go on my channel, and then when you're on the channel, type into the little magnifying glass search window, Nutty Letters. And you'll see 4 different videos. You'll love them. Because there's a lot of crazy people out there.
So King Can Blackman wants to know about your relationship with one Jose Velasquez. Crackerjack.
Jose is in Chicago.
Yep.
And I met Jose at the
Pinball Expo.
No, well, he was there, but we went to the King's Arcade.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh, right out of my head. So this is what happens when you turn 70 years old.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it.
You'll be that way soon,
Yeah, like I said, not looking forward to it.
But he was. We had some fun because he wanted to challenge me in playing pinball. So he killed me there at the arcade. And then when we played again, I think 2 years later in the Pinball Expo, I destroyed him. So, I had to show him that I could still play pinball. That, I'm not doing
I thought it was an eating contest.
an eating contest. Did you hear what he just said?
Yeah, I did.
An eating contest.
I don't think we need to be doing an eating contest.
No, that's never necessary. What are you going to do?
I mean, yeah, you don't want to do an eating contest because you've had
Never.
some health challenges over the years.
That would do it.
Yeah, because you're. Yes, yeah. Come on, excuse me.
So, anyway, moving on.
Let's see, where are we at? I mean, you sold 400 machines out of your driveway. How'd you? You were acquiring them.
No, yeah, we
Gosh.
were getting them from other people. See, here's what happened. The vendors were packed. They had storage units. Back then, the storage units were you'd rent the storage unit and put all of the games you pulled out of a location. They were broken. Something was wrong, or you couldn't find a location. See, here's the problem. When you got into this, I'll never forget the school teacher stories. They had these school teachers that would go to the distributor and buy 3 games because the 7-Eleven up the street from them, he went in there, he's friends with him, and the guy said, you can put some games in and we'll split the money. So the school teacher, and back then they charged these people that weren't in the industry, they charged them more. There was no price list, really. So they would charge the school teachers $9,500 for 3 games, a Frogger, a Zaxxon, and maybe a Pac-Man.
Yeah.
And they distribute them or deliver it to the guy, and he would buy his own locks, and he'd put a bar on them. You had to put a bar on them. The kids were prying into him. And then suddenly he was in business. The school teacher was making money while he's teaching school. He went and collected the game. Guy would call up and say it's not moving left. He'd go out and fix it or whatever. And the guy's making this money. He's making, 500 or 600. The games were grossing. Back then, these games were grossing $200-300 each a week. And he'd give half the money to the 7-Eleven. Well, here's what happened. 3 weeks later, the other place, the other delicatessen up the street, they got in a scramble. And suddenly, all the kids, oh, what's this scramble? They all want to play scramble. Why do I have these 3? I want another game. Well, the teacher's thinking, well, I've only gotten back $1,500 out of my $9,000 investment, let's say. So he has to go out and buy another one. So he puts the scramble in, takes out the lowest earner. Now he has to find a place for that game. The problem was that constantly happened. And finally, the guy at the location called up and said, listen, I just had this company come in, and he said he's going to give me 3 brand new games out of the box, brand new, and give me a $500 commission that I can keep. What are you going to do?
How much do you sell them for?
And the teacher's like this, oh man, and then the vendor makes them sign a contract. See, the school teachers didn't get a written contract, although that could be fought at any time. Anybody could screw you, but these teachers suddenly discovered they had 4 games in their garage they couldn't find a location for, because now the vendors got contracts from the easy-to-get locations, the games, the 24-hour locations. So he had to go out and find some obscure coffee shop or fruit market stand or something to put his stupid games in. And now they were only making $38 a week or $50 a week. And then that guy would say, well, the kids don't like this one. They're going up the street. When can you? And even though the location wasn't producing money, the poor guy realized that he should never have gotten into the business. And the vendors were in the same boat. They had games that nobody would play anymore. Asteroids, it ran its course. Nobody wanted it. So a lot of the vendors started trying to sell them at a higher rate. Like, I remember that we were buying used asteroids, and we were paying $1,000, $1,100 for it. And it was great because they were still earning money. They weren't making money like they did when they first came out. My partner and I were buying them in 1981, an asteroids, for a used one for $1,100. And they were 1,900 new. They weren't available new anymore, but we had less money into it, so it didn't have to make as much money. Well, it got to a point in 1984, these vendors were sitting on a lot of games. And here's how I did it. The word got out to the vendors. I paid $25 for black and white and $100 for color, and sometimes more. And they would show up with their pickup truck with 7 games on it. They'd unload them right in my driveway. I'd plug them in. If they worked, they got paid. They drove off happy because they got 5 or 7 games out of their storage unit. They wanted to get rid of their storage units, and they knew they were never going to find a location for these. And then I sold them to homeowners. And then during the week, I covered them with tarpaulins. They never left the garage. They never left the driveway. Heavy rain, the bottoms of them got a little damp, But that's
Oh
how I
gosh,
started.
that's scary.
Well, it's baby. Remember, these weren't selling. We weren't. Tapper was $400 back then. I actually have a price sheet. But at one point, most of our games were under $400 or $500.
Unlike now.
Discs of Tron was 800. That's all it was, $800, and that's all they were worth back then. But that's how I started the business. Here I am. I'm about to start my 47th year, and we're still open. We're still selling games. Things have changed though a lot. Most of our customers do not want a single game. They want a multi-game.
Yeah.
So we started not recently, 20 years ago. We didn't advertise it, but we started offering multi-games. And back then, we could take a Miss Pac-Man and convert it over so it played. Back then, I think it was first set was 28 games. Then they went to 38. Then they went, maybe it was 48, and then now to 60. We converted
61.
hundreds of games to multi-games. We left the original graphics alone, so if you walked up to the Frogger, you'd think it was a Frogger until you turned it on. We added extra buttons to the control panel.
Yeah.
So we essentially sold a Frogger multi-cade, but it was an original cabinet. We didn't build cabinets.
Right.
We would convert. Now Miss Pac-Man is the baby. We are taking Miss Pac-Mans, we're taking the harness and throwing it out. Or I recycle. I don't throw any electronics out. I put tons of stuff out on my wall, and people come and pick it up all the time. Wires, harnesses, cash pans that are dented, bent legs for pinball machines, monitors that are burned in, whatever. I throw them all out, and then the trash pickers get them and take them and get money for them. I don't want to be bothered, and the trash picker guys get a few bucks for my stuff.
Recyclers.
But I convert the Miss Pac-Man into a multi-cade. Brand new harness. We put in a fuse block. We put in a line filter. We put ground wires to the control panel and out. We put a new grounded plug on it. We put a brand new power supply. We put a flat screen monitor. Games 50, 60, 70 pounds later, it probably will never break down. And you know what? People love it because, and if it does break down, we can figure out what it is real quick. The monitors are release. We now with the system, I can say we've sold well over 3,000 multi-cades. Well over. And that's the way it is now. We didn't tell anybody. We just had them in the showroom because everything was considered foggy and shady and everything. But baby, everybody under the sun is selling them now. They're on Amazon.
Yeah.
When you open one of them up, you find out it looks like a rat's nest. They buy the cheapest harness with 6 strands of wire in the wires. 6 little wires break off the control panel. Half of the games I've seen are atrocious. They take an outlet strip and screw it down to the bottom of the game, and then plug stuff in. Nothing's fused. Just horrific, horrible games. They buy the lumber at Home Depot and build the cabinet. They found plans online. They buy a new coin door. And the game's like, there's the board yet, the 16-1.
$50.
Yeah, and here's the deal. 1 out of 10 are bad. 4 will fail. Just the way it is.
Thankfully, they're cheap.
But, sometimes you get, 2 bad ones in the shipment. Sometimes you get 0. But that's about the ratio. So I offer a warranty. I'll switch it for free if they have a problem. We try to keep the game on long enough to catch a failure before the game's delivered.
Mm-hmm.
I use the old head for other than a hat rack.
There is a question in the chat. King Cam has kind of asked it twice because he wants to know. One of your videos, you played a game Galloping Ghost has Code 1 Dispatch.
Oh, okay.
which I do not believe is available for play on the arcade floor right now. But then again, I don't
Here's
not
the
sure what
problem
this
with Code
is.
One Dispatch and a number of Konami games. Silent Scope.
Hmm.
We won't sell it anymore. Here's why. There's a part inside the game that fails, and there's no fix for it.
The scope?
Like a timekeeper. And when that goes bad, originally you had to ship it back to Konami, and for $300 they reprogrammed it. You can't tell that to a homeowner. Well, I'm going to have to come out to your house and take the board out. Then I'm going to have to ship it out. And then I'm going to have to come back to your house to put it back in. So 2 round trips to the house. The guy's an hour away. And then $300 for the board plus the shipping. They're going to be raging. So they're best to sell in an as-is sale or in an auction. And you blow it out and you're done. So Code One Dispatch is a great game, but they're dropping dead now. Do not buy a broken one. I can't fix it. And I was told Konami wasn't taking any more in. The same is true with Police 911 that has the cameras and sense you moving.
Mhm.
Can't fix it. Now, it's possible the board won't go bad.
Right.
What do you do when it goes bad? Then you have, if the board goes bad on your Code One Dispatch, you have one great alternative. If only if you're a fisherman. You go out to where the bass are biting, you tie a heavy rope around it, and you drop it off the side of the boat to keep you in place. And then when you're ready to leave your fishing, you saw through the rope. No, people don't like that answer, do they?
Well, first off, I don't think I could get the machine in the boat to begin with because it's too daggum heavy. I'd probably sink the boat along with
Good.
I'd sink the boat along with myself. So I'd be basically a boat anchor instead of a fishing lure or whatever. I don't think it would be good for catching any fish, and you wouldn't get anywhere. I don't think. But this is the game.
Yep.
I don't
Oh, it's
recognize
fun.
it,
Game's fun.
but I do. For the record, this is
I've
not
sold
on the
2.
arcade floor, available for play.
Yep. I sold 2. Uh, uh, the last one was as is, and I explained to the guy, I think I got $1,000 for it, but I said, if it breaks, I can't fix it. The first one I sold, I had to fix it, and I vent operated it, and then I decided it was time to dump it. I do not know what happened to either one. I do keep track of my customers,
Mm-hmm.
and I could probably research it and find out, but I really don't want to. A lot of times you call the phone number you have on file, and they're long moved away or long changed. And I find it best not to open up a can of worms. So if somebody calls me and say they only want a Code One Dispatch, I'll put them, first of all, explain them. If I sell you one, I can't fix it. And then I can still put you on a waiting list, and I'll call them when one comes in and sell to them as is.
Now,
So that's the story for Code One.
nobody had. What was it going to ask about this? You don't sell it. Oh yeah, they have not found. So you say they can't fix it because of a.
There's a chip that fails over time. And the game, when that fails, the game loses. It's sort of like the suicide battery in the Konami games.
Oh gosh, that was so.
People have
Stupid.
worked their way around that because there was so many games.
Yeah.
But Silent Scope and Code One Dispatch, nobody has tried to uncover and unlock the secrets. And it's sad because Silent Scope was a great game, but you can't fix it. And they are
So
dying.
you can't fix
They
it.
are dying.
So the only way to play eventually will be through an emulator.
Or if Galloping Ghost gets one, maybe he'll do what we do. He'll buy 2 extra boards and keep them.
And try to figure out the secret if they have time.
If he has time. I'm running out of steam. I actually had 2 implants done today, and
Yeah,
an
I
hour
know.
before the show, I couldn't even move my mouth. It was so much in pain. But
How are
I'm
you doing?
here. But I think I took couple pills, and I think they kind of made me a little sleepy. What are you
So
gonna do?
you do need to. So you do need me to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Really
Any
quick.
last questions? We'll do one more question.
All right. Well, let me ask you this.
I looked.
Yeah, he said if the chip fails, the whole game fails.
That's right. Yeah, the game board won't power up. It'll tell you there's a problem and you can't solve the problem, and Konami has to reburn it. Whatever it is, you can't just get off the internet. I wish you
Yeah.
could.
Not now, anyway.
That's
But
right.
you know what?
Now remember they fixed the Capcom, or I like to call them the Crapcom 2s. They fixed those boards. They got around the suicide battery.
Yeah.
Originally, you had to take the cartridge apart, solder the new battery on top of the old battery, then cut the old one away. And then the new battery, remember, those lithium batteries only last 5, 6, 7 years at the most. And then you're back.
And I have one of those in my garage.
Yeah.
It hasn't
But the
failed
good
yet.
news is collectors, because there's so many of them out there.
Mhm.
The collectors got it right. It's sort of like the Jurassic Park line in Jurassic Park, where Jeff Goldblum says it's something along the lines of nature finds a way.
Right.
Because there's only females. They figured they're not going to have babies, but nature finds a way to make babies, even though they're all females. I think I missed one word there, but regardless, there you go.
Okay. So you're running out of steam. Yes. Jeez. You have written a couple of books.
I wrote one book that got botched by the publisher. This
I remember that.
idiot in Canada, who his team will do everything, and I had great plans for that book series. Now get this. Now we're talking about years ago. I think this goes back 7 years ago. I wanted to put a QR code every couple pages. I'd be talking about, let's say, Digger.
Mhm.
I'd say, this fun game Digger I'd like to play. And I'd have a QR code there. So if you took your phone, put it over the QR code, and hit the button, it would take you to one of my videos that's queued up to that game on video. So you put the book down, and then you watch the video. Then when you're done with the video, you put the phone down and you pick the book back up. And I was going to fill the book with QR codes. And you know what that ass said? I kept the email. He said to me, my team and I feel that QR codes are a thing of the past, and that none of them use them, and this is not a good move, and we're not putting them in.
You're fired.
Well, the problem was I made the mistake of doing a publisher. So I published the book with him, and he was the editor. And the deal was the book would sell for $30. I would get 10, he would get 10, and the last 10 was to pay for the printing of the book and the editing. And I was happy with that. And you know what? We sold 300 bucks. So I got 300 times 10 bucks. I got 3,000 bucks. But he moved the book up. It was not on the paper he promised. It was full of mistakes. I mean, full of them. Mistake after mistake. And this dimwit never proofread the book, never sent me a sample copy, printed on this crappy stock. I had service tips and everything. But because the stock was so crappy, it was like newsprint. You couldn't see my pictures showing how to fix this stuff. completely destroyed the series. And then he had the nerve to fire me because I badmouthed the book. I simply said, we're going to fix the errors. You folks got the first edition, but we'll have a second edition with the errors fixed. Well, he said he was doing nothing of that. So he fired me from my own book series. Fired me. And he is going to write book 2 and 3. But he was clueless. Clueless. I had no idea what he was talking about. All he did was research. He filled the book with pictures he got off the internet. He actually cut and pasted all these images because he didn't have any games. He had like 5 games. He couldn't take pictures. He had no stories. And then he literally cut whole descriptions out of other people's stuff and stuck them in part 2 and 3. And they never made a part 4. But, just a complete dimwit. So, but he's out of my life.
I hope he's out of business too.
No, he still scrabbles about. In Canada, the rules are different. But he tried to ruin me. He published all this horrible stuff about me. He was even going to publish a book about my demise. He actually had put the cover up. If you do some research, you can find about my empire collapsing. Which probably will anyway. It hasn't, and his stuff is not selling. I hear the game is playing. Can you tell him to turn it down because of the broadcast?
What we got playing over there?
It's the pinball. We had trouble. The hard drive fails. That's a problem.
That's Guns N' Roses. Yeah.
Future problem for a lot of people with these newer pinball machines. They're running on electronics that we can't fix. Can't fix it.
I'm going to put you full screen because I want to see the stuff behind you. I see behind there the new Star Wars, which I didn't get to play because I
there's also
marooned.
Avatar, Cactus Jacks, Iron Maiden, Mandalorian. Oh, the door is open on the Elvira. That's why I saw Willy Wonka. But
it's actually Cactus Canyon. Cactus Jack is that
I meant
pure gauntlet game.
I made an error. And you
I remember that. I know Cactus Jack because college they had one of them.
Hell's Bells.
Yes.
You caught me.
My neighbor did have an arcade, so I grew up. Yeah, my neighbor owned an arcade in Jacksonville, Illinois, so I got to see all these games come and go, and some obscure ones, which I'm looking to find now, because Gavin Gus probably doesn't have one available on the arcade floor for play, nor whether or not it's in the vaults or not.
And people should know he has 2 separate arcades. He has a video game arcade, just videos.
Yeah.
And he has the pinball arcade.
Right.
Now, he's got a lot less, there's only 40, maybe 45 pinball machines.
Yes.
That's still a hell of a lot of machines.
Although if you want a lot of pinball, you're going to have to go to the Pinball Museum in Vegas or Rob Burke's place in Girard, Ohio.
Yep. He's doing very well, and he's got some nice stuff. Rob is a great guy. Rob, the Burks are really great. They're good.
All right. I'll hit you with this last question.
Good.
What's the rare? Since you got a kind of called a night early because of the surgery, what was the rarest, oddest, or most obscure arcade game that came through your shop over the years that no one's going to know what it is?
Well, Digger, of course, is one, but in the old days, I moved out of another warehouse I was renting up the street, and I had to get rid of a lot of stuff.
Right.
And I had a Cinematronics. It was a color game. Oh my gosh. Super rare. Wasn't Quantum. I'm going to see if I can guess it. Let me tell you.
War of the Worlds?
No, it wasn't. War of the Worlds was black and white. I'll tell you in 2 seconds.
There's one other
I just
question,
brought up, by the way, KLOV, that stands for killerlistofvideos.com, lists everything. So I just typed in Cinematronics, and I'm going through the list. It was a color vector game. And let's see. I'm going to tell you the name of it. Cosmic Chasm, 1983. It ran on a Wells Gardner 6100. That was modified a bit. And I think they made maybe 20 of them. I had it. It did not work. The logic board didn't work. The monitor did. But nobody would fix it. Nobody would fix it. Beautiful game. If you see the video now on the screen, I never saw it work. Listed on old CLOV listings. I put all this stuff up on CLOV. You'd have to go back on old listings. I had it for $300, and nobody wanted it. Nobody. I had a Turkey Hunter, which is a rare Williams game, gun game.
Turkey
Also
shoot.
did not. Turkey shoot, maybe that's why. It did not work either, but the coil that fired the feathers up did. I had that for $400. And you got a beautiful monitor out of it. Well, the Cosmic Chasm never sold. I parted it out. I kept we threw the cabinet out, took the Wells Gardner out. I had to modify it. They changed some parts so I could use it in the Tempest. Took the logic board out, took that really funky control panel off, and then the odd bezel on the top. And then the cabinet went in the dump. I didn't even save the wiring harness because it had no value. I kept them on the shelf, and eventually, believe it or not, I was able to sell each component. Somebody paid me $400 for the control panel. You know, we're talking maybe 15 years ago or 20 years. Somebody bought the logic board for like $200. So I ended up selling it for more than if somebody had walked in and paid me $300. So that was super rare. The Turkey Hunter or Turkey Gun.
Turkey shoot.
Turkey shoot. That
I
was
played it. I have the house high Kelvin Ghost.
Remember the same deal. I had not one or two, but three of the baby Pac-Man game, but it was the other one. Gosh, we just refurbed one recently. Granny and the Gators.
Yeah.
Three of them. One worked. You had to take all three for $1,200. And I finally had this guy show up with a pickup. I'll give you $1,100. I took the $1,100. Now, of course, now you can get $5,000 for each one. But back then, nobody wanted it. Now, I can even tell you when that happened. And that happened when I bought the building I'm in next door. We're not talking years ago. We're talking like 2006. Okay? So it wasn't that long ago, baby, 20 years ago. I moved out of that big warehouse and I got rid of stuff in the bundles. Isn't that, look at the graphics on. Isn't that beautiful? And then also, oddly enough, also what I did, I had, they were $3 each, and he gave me $1,200. I had $3, no, $1,500. They were $5 each. That's what it was, $5 each. I sold them for $1,500. All these control panels. Outrun, Spy Hunter. He came down from Pittsburgh in a big rented U-Haul, and we put them all in there. And he gave me $1,500, and out he went. It was $300. 300 control panels. But there were some rare ones. Snacks and Jackson.
Yeah.
Chicken Shift. They were Sentai games. And these panels would sell now for $200 a piece, $300 a piece. Now, I tried to contact him about 2 years later. I said, would you be interested in selling a few? I said, we can make some money here. He never got back to me. The email didn't come back either. He just ignored me. I sent an email him twice, but it didn't get returned. So I knew he must have been seeing them. But this is what happens.
Galby Ghost got both of those.
Comes in, you strike while the iron's hot. Here's an old one. You never know when a great deal will pass your way. And if it does, you try your best to take the bull by the horns, baby. Anyway, thanks very much for having me on your show. I
He wants
appreciate
to
it.
know if when you're coming back to Galvin Ghost.
Yeah, we will be back. By the way, everybody should know if people want me to appear at a show that they're doing, I require round trip airfare with no stops. I'm not going to sit in some goofy airport someplace for 6 hours waiting for the next flight, and accommodations in the hotel that the event is in. I am not renting a car or walking to a hotel down the street. And then I will attend your event and I will walk around and talk to people. I'll even do a seminar if you want. I may be called back to the Video Game Summit in Chicago next year. I don't know when he's doing it. So if you
Typically July.
come out. Now, I am doing, in 3 weeks, I am going to Houston to the Arcade Pinball convention. It's in Houston, Texas. And they're flying me out and putting me up. Great show. Tons of classic video games and pinball machines. Hotel full of them. Nice hotel. They even have a flea market. And I'm flying in with Chuck. The two of us are going to get there Thursday. The event's Friday and Saturday. And then Sunday is the wrap up. And it was at that very show 2 years ago, I got the last interview with Cindy Morgan, the star of Tron. She died like 4 weeks later. They found her dead in her apartment. I was the last interview. The lovely woman. We had so much fun. I actually did interviews. I did an interview this way with the camera this way, and then one with the camera that way for TikTok. So I did 2 different interviews. Check my TikTok channel out. You better.
I avoid TikTok like the plague.
Oh!
Just because
TikTok.
it's Chinese spyware.
Rubbish. Anyway,
just
thank you very much, gentlemen and ladies, whoever's watching. I appreciate you watching the telecast. I'll put some links up to the show too, so people from my channel will come over and watch. They always enjoy hearing me.
Yeah, you stream fairly often, although when's your next stream?
The next stream is tomorrow night.
And what are we doing tomorrow night?
Saturday, where we're going to walk around our usual tour of the place. And on Saturday, I'm hoping this weekend, I will be launching my super duper, super deluxe bargain basement video number 52. 52 bargain basements. And this one's going to have prices dropped to the lowest prices I've ever had. So you have a chance, but the only way to get the prices is to watch the video. So you have to go to my channel, you have to subscribe, you have to hit the little bell so it notifies you when I go live or when the channel is up. Sometimes the show premieres, even though it's not live, but then our chat's very lively. Love to see you all there. I'll get some of Steven's customers and rip them out. And then Steven will get some of my customers and leave me forever. Better not happen.
I would like to tour your place, but you're way out in Pennsylvania.
Well, there's something called an airplane.
I'm afraid to fly. I'd have to take the Amtrak or
then
drive.
There's the train, and then there's the family car. What you do is you grab the keys from mom and say, I'm going up the store to get a burger. And then you just start driving.
Yeah, it'll be a bit of a
Of course,
trip.
you may run out of gas.
I got a Prius. I can go 500 miles on one tank. Anyway.
Thanks, guys. Thank you to all of you. I am getting out because my mouth is getting sore. And we've been on the air for over an hour. So I think
yes, we have been. I want to thank you for coming in tonight.
Absolutely.
Adrian asked about Roundup. I haven't come across it. I don't know if you have.
I had one.
One. Okay.
It was a kit. It was a kit. It was
yes.
It was a disaster.
Not a great game, no. I saw those given away on The Price is Right. I ran across one at
Wait a
Chuck E.
minute.
Cheese.
It may
So
not have been a kit. I may be wrong on Roundup. I was thinking of Blockout. I'm not familiar with Roundup. Is that an Atari game? I
it's
think
a century game.
no, I'm not familiar. I never had one.
Okay.
Never had a Roundup. So
All
that's
right.
really rare. I bet Galloping Ghost has it.
Not available for play on the arcade floor. Whether they have it in the vault or not, I have no idea.
Those creeps.
Well,
Thanks,
we're
guys.
all buzzing about Beezer at this point. I don't
Well,
know. You
I
know
I
Beezer?
am leaving.
All right. Have a good Todd, Tuckey. Have a good night and get
Check
some
out
rest.
my channels. Check out my TikTok. I'm broke.
I want some more arcade games in my house. All right.
Good night, guys.
And so have a good night, Todd.
Thank you.
All right. Maybe we'll have Todd, Tuckey, maybe on a future date because we only had about a little more than an hour. But yeah, that mouth surgery, it was a factor in the length of the pod, so it'll be all right. We'll maybe we'll circle back to it at a later time. But I emailed him last week, like 2 weeks ago, asking if he would do my podcast. Just and before I was to stream that night, and he agreed to it. So I was glad to get him in. I didn't gain, we're close to getting through all the stuff that I could have covered. Tonight we didn't even talk about the YouTube channel and coming up with all these funny skits and stuff, but maybe another day we'll be able to cover that. Well, there's a little bit more I've got to show off before we get out of here. I've got to turn that screen off and bring back the PowerPoint presentation. Share screen. So I got to get this back up. All right. Well, quick rundown. Few high scores were set since last week. Andrew Owasco took Fighter and Attacker away from King Ken Blackman as of today. 368,000. John Liming, Silent Hill the arcade. That is in a secure area, and you have to request to play it. But he got further in it on one credit, breaking 1.6 million. JP Pitts apparently showed up at the arcade today or on Monday and put in a new score on Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing. Got under 2 minutes for 204.8, slightly under that as of on Tuesday. Andrew Wasco also raced the score in the recent Monday mystery game, Big Karnak, and then Matthew Rabick increased the Hopping Mappy score a bit more, 57,611. That game is on one of the Ms. Pac-Man arcade one-ups, so I haven't really dug into that very much. I've tried it out, but it plays different than your standard Mappy game. Not really much of a change here. The same order of players, and the chase for tokens continues to increase with all these challenge cards. Arcade Wars. I'm gonna put in the score on Mr. Do, although Underground Retrocade is pretty much wrapped this up with that high score on Mr. Do by Bruce Whittemer, that world record. And Midwest Gaming Classic, April 24th to 26th, 2026. They've got the tickets on sale and hotel rooms are available. I need to leaf through this because who am I getting on next week? I can't forget that. Who's coming in next week? My guest for October the 30th will be speedrunner and outrun specialist Isaiah Mancria. Boy, I gotta pronounce this right. Man, Maniquez. Gosh, he's gonna have to help me with the name pronunciation. But Isaiah, he had the high score on Outrun for Arcade Wars. They did not accept the score. We talked about it with Jim Patzer last week. So he'll be on the podcast next week. We're going to talk about that Outrun run because he's able to 1cc it with particular ease and has sped run the game. Well, Outrun's a speed run game anyway, but yeah, he was up at the Midwest Gaming Classic. So we'll have him as the guest on next week at our regular time, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. Boy, it's a good thing I've got Todd in an hour sooner. Anyway, I am going to raid a channel. And who am I going to raid tonight? Let's see who's streaming tonight. I know. Well, it's Halloween. And you know what? I need to raid a channel that's playing like a horror game. So tonight, I'm going to raid Tipster Live. He is playing Resident Evil 1 Remake, so we'll raid his channel tonight. And we'll see you next week here on the Crimeycade. I'm the Mad Conservative Crime Fighter. Have a good night, everybody.